Under the terraces of Machu Picchu. Scans revealed something no one expected, an older world buried below the Incas' immaculate stonework. For centuries, we believed the great stones of Cusco and Machu Picchu stood upon Inca foundations, a single empire, a single moment in time. But the ground now tells another story. Beneath the visible city lies another, hidden in the strata, its geometry faint, its purpose lost. This isn't a myth, it's data. In 2024, a joint team from the Italian National Research Council, the Silesian University of Technology used satellite imaging, drones, ground-penetrating radar, and electrical resistivity tomography to map the subsoil of Machu Picchu's Plaza principle. They expected granite bedrock sterile, inert. Instead, the instruments returned a pattern of buried horizons, multiple layers, 2 to 3.5 meters deep, each echoing back like the heartbeat of a forgotten engineer. The radargrams showed reflective surfaces, R1 and R2, flat above, concave below, cut into a basin that once carried water before being filled and leveled. Inside the fill, the excavators found fragments of worked stone, ceramics, traces of charcoal, and the compacted sands of deliberate construction. The conclusion was cautious but clear. The presence of cultural material at various depths suggests at least 2 phases of construction of the Plaza principle. Massini et al., 2023. In other words, beneath the plaza where tourists now walk, there may lie another plaza, a plaza hundida, a sunken ceremonial court older than the sanctuary built above it. If the scans are correct, the Inca did not begin their city on untouched rock dot. They inherited a platform already shaped by human hands. The first builders had cut into the mountain, drained its water, and laid out a basin aligned to the sun's path, a space both functional and sacred. Later, the Inca filled it, elevated it, and extended the plaza to its present form, a ritual transformation of a place already holy. In the data, science found a layered dialogue, one culture building directly upon the engineering of another. It raises a quiet, factual question. When does one civilization end and another begin? If the foundations are older than the name we give them, what name truly belongs beneath the stones? This pattern, a deeper construction below a known horizon, is not unique to Machu Picchu. In 2020, urban geophysical mapping beneath Cusco's Plaza de Armas detected walls and drainage lines several meters under colonial and drainage lines several meters under colonial and Inca layers, their orientation slightly misaligned with the known city grid. At Sacsayhuaman, resistivity profiles revealed discontinuities in the polygonal walls, interfaces where older and younger masonry meet. Across the sacred valley, site after site whispers the same truth. What we see as one civilization's achievement may, in fact, be the summit of a mountain of forgotten efforts. The Warsaw Center for Andean Studies summarized it simply: the urban subsoil of Cusco contains overlapping cultural phases, Inca, pre-Inca, and possibly proto-urban. It seems the Andes built itself in vertical memory, each layer a civilization's attempt to stabilize time. Yet the moment these findings were published, a familiar resistance stirred. Traditional archaeologists remind us radiocarbon dating fixes the first Inca occupation at the early 1400s CE. No earlier strata has yet yielded definitive pre-Inca artifacts within Machu Picchu itself. Skeptics caution that radar reflectors might mark only geological variation fractured granite, not foundations. They warn against letting data feed mythology. But the scans persist. They do not invent, they reflect dot, and reflection, when repeated at depth, implies human intent. Even within cautious academia, one phrase began to reappear: construction in phases, a gentle, almost reluctant admission that the mountain has been worked more than once. On a gray morning above the Urubamba River, the geophysicist Dominika Sichkowska watched her instruments pulse against the soil. At 4 meters, a strong echo appeared, then another dot. Her field note reads simply, 2 deep reflectors, parallel, unexpected, possibly anthropogenic. She did not shout discovery, she underlined unexpected. Later, In interview, her colleague Nicola Massini described the sensation. It is like listening to a voice that comes from the ground itself. For the Peruvian archaeologists working beside them, the implications were emotional. If these foundations predate the Inca, they also predate the story that defines national identity. To question the Inca origin of these stones is to open a deeper ancestry, one without a name. In local Quechua tradition, the mountain itself is alive. Apu Machu Picchu. Perhaps the mountain was already sacred before the empire named it. Perhaps the Inca merely continued a conversation begun long before. What if the Inca were not the originators of the Andean stone tradition, but its restorers, the final inheritors of an older engineering language? What if those immense polygonal blocks at Cusco, those seamless joints at Ollantaytambo, were part of a technology of adaptation, relearned after catastrophe rather than invented anew? The radar data shows drainage basins reshaped, granite chaos transformed into foundations that still resist erosion today. That knowledge appears sudden in the Inca record, fully formed without prototypes. Could it be the survival of an older hydraulic science, handed down not through writing but through landscape memory? If so, the story of Machu Picchu changes. It becomes not the beginning of genius, but the preservation of something even older. And if one accepts that possibility only as hypothesis, never as myth, then the Andes become a palimpsest, each empire writing its brief message upon the erased lines of the last. Around the world, similar revelations are surfacing through remote sensing. At Tiwanaku in Bolivia, magnetometry has traced foundations beneath the visible Acapana pyramid older than the standing walls. Beneath the visible Acapana pyramid older than the standing walls. In 2022, engineers confirmed buried water conduits aligned with celestial axes no longer visible on the surface. In Turkey, beneath Göbekli Tepe, ground-penetrating radar has revealed circular structures beneath the known enclosures, one monument built upon another, over millennia. Even in Egypt, LiDAR over Saqqara and Dashur has exposed entire neighborhoods beneath desert sands, older than the pyramids that define the skyline. Everywhere, technology is peeling back the surface of history and revealing a single pattern. Humanity does not build once. It builds, forgets, and builds again upon its own ruins. The Andes, it seems, obey the same law, stone over stone, meaning over meaning. The scientific reports paper ends without drama. Its final line is clinical. Multi-scale and multi-sensor analyses unveiled the buried drainage systems adopted for the Andes, allowing the recreation of the initial pre-construction setting and unveiling the Machu Picchu environment before the construction that we know nowadays. But between those words lies the quiet tremor of revelation. The world's most studied sanctuary still holds secrets beneath its feet. It reminds us that history is not a straight road, but a spiral, each culture circling the same mountains, each one thinking it begins where another once stood. Perhaps the real mystery is not who built first, but how knowledge survives without names. When the ground beneath Cusco still carries the geometry of forgotten engineers, we must ask, how much of civilization lies unseen, not lost, merely buried under its own perfection? The scans of 2023 did more than map stone. They mapped humility. They showed that even in a place as celebrated as Machu Picchu, truth remains subterranean. And as the data echoes from beneath the plaza, a single thought lingers. If the earth remembers more than we do, what else waits silent and patient beneath the stones of Cusco?